Welcome to the latest episode of my vlogs Love Ultras. This is episode 12 and I'm John Kynaston. It's been about 6-7 weeks since I did the last one before we went on holiday to Indonesia, and so I thought it was about time that I did a little bit of an update, and this one is going to be basically the latest news on my injury. Sadly, I've not run since the West Highland Way race that I had to DNF, my first DNF after 40 ultras. But it was the right decision because my tendon is still recovering, and I'll come on to that in a moment. But first of all, just to let you know that we had a great time in Bali in Indonesia. We were there for almost 4 weeks, spending time with our daughter Emma and her husband Jonas and our little grandson Noah, who is just over 2. So it was lovely just spending lots of time with them. They just recently moved to Bali themselves, having lived in Malang for the last 4 or 5 years. And Emma's got a new job in the Green School, which we had a tour round, and that was really interesting as well. But it was just great to see where they live in their new home and explore Bali with them. If you've ever been to Bali, then Ubud is about 9 miles away, which is a lovely sort of town where there's lots of shops and lots of touristy things there, including the monkey safari, the monkey forest you can visit. And then the beaches aren't too far away. Sanur, which was our favourite one, was about 45 minutes away. And then we had a lovely few days away on an island called Lebongan, which is a 40-minute ferry ride across to over the sea, and we spent a lovely 5 nights there. So I say it was great to spend time with our family and to enjoy Bali in the good weather. Sadly, I wasn't able to run, and there was an ultra in Bali while I was there, and I was so wanted to do it, but it just wasn't going to happen. But hopefully we'll go back another year and I'll try and do it then. But what I did do, I did some cycling. I hired a bike for a few days and did a bit of touring around from where they live, and that was good fun. Past all the rice fields and into various places. So that was a good way of seeing the country as well, and the countryside, so I enjoyed that. Also did some swimming and quite a bit of walking around as well. So I did some exercise, but not quite running, which I'd have enjoyed doing. So where am I with my injury? Matt Williamson gave me some exercises which I've done. Can't say I've been every day, but I've tried most days, particularly when we were away. Every time we had a shower, I basically did the stretches, and that was definitely helping. And I would say I'm at the point now where I've not run for 8 weeks since the West Highland Way, and it's definitely getting better. I couldn't even walk downstairs without soreness, and I've just come down the stairs now. I've been out on my elliptical bike, which I'll mention in a moment, and I can walk downstairs without too much pain at all. So it's definitely getting better. If I tried to jump downstairs, then it would hurt, and so it's not quite there, but it's definitely getting better. And I feel quite encouraged that I am going the right way, and I've just got to trust that it's going to take time, but I really want to get it right before I start running again. I didn't do the Devil of the Highlands. I'd already planned not to do that one. The next big race I was hoping to be able to do is next weekend, not this weekend, the first weekend of September, the Ring of Fire around Anglesey. But I'm afraid I've had to knock that on the head as well, because I say I've not run for two months, and if I could run without pain next week, which I'm not sure I would anyway, I don't think I get round, and I don't really want to start unless I can finish it. So sadly I've had to DNF from that one. I do have one more race, or I do not start from that one. I do have one more race planned, which is the Glenorghy 33 on the 4th of November, and that's 2 months away, so I'm really hoping I'll be able to do that one, because it's a shorter distance, 33 miles. That would maybe a good way ease back into it if I can be running a month before and try and get a few, at least 1 or 2 longer runs in before and build up to it. But if it's not, then I will drop out of that one as well. I only want to start it if I know I've got a good chance of being able to finish the race. Since I've been home, I've been cycling quite a bit. We, as a work, had a couple of days in Blairvaddock over the other side of Helensburgh, which is about 35 miles away. So myself and my friends James and Stephen, we cycled over in the morning and then cycled back the next day after the activities. So that was good fun. And I've been cycling to and from work a few times as well. And then I've started doing some work on a cross trainer, and I posted a video on Facebook just showing, at least if I can't run, at least I can do this. And Tim Downey, my good friend, he got in touch and said, oh, you ought to have a go on the elliptigo. And very kindly said to him, would you like to borrow mine? So I've borrowed Tim's elliptigo, and in fact I've just been on it for an hour or so. I just got in a few minutes ago, had a shower, and it's really good fun. It's hard work. I would say it's definitely harder than cycling. You've got to work harder to get a decent pace up. I think I was averaging around about 13-14 miles an hour today. So it's a good workout, but it's more of a running action rather than a cycling action. But you're not putting any stress on the ligaments that's sore. So I can do that. I can cycle without any problems at all. I can't even feel the ligament. But it's when I try and run or try and put some pressure on it and hop, that's when it starts to hurt. So that's where I am. I'm trying to keep some sort of fitness going by doing the elliptigo and cycling, and trying to get my heart rate up at least a little bit, and trying to get a bit of exercise that way. But as far as the injury goes, I had a little bit of a light bulb moment last week. It goes back to the fact that about 10-11 years ago, before I got into ultras, I had a long-term calf injury, which really meant that I couldn't run on the road very much. Every time I tried, it broke down, it was sore. And eventually I got an appointment in the RAH, the Royal Alexandra Hospital here in Paisley, which is just half a mile or so away from where I live. And a physio called Katrina helped me and worked on the scar tissue and worked for about 6 months with me. And she recognised that maybe my running style was causing the problem. I have a bunion on my right foot, which means that I don't run off my toe very well. I put all the pressure on the second toe. And they made me some orthotics, which basically took the pressure off the second toe by putting a bit of padding underneath the toe. So for the last 10 years, really, I've run with orthotics, and I've had very few injuries. I've had a few, but nothing to do with the foot in a sense, and that calf. And then each year, when the orthotics wore out, I'd go down to the RAH. I got to know the secretary quite well in the end, and he said, "Oh, don't come down, just give me a ring and I'll order a new pair." So every year, every 18 months or so, I'd get a new pair of orthotics, and that would keep me going. And then it must have been September, October time last year, I rang up, somewhere around there, October, November. I rang up to see if I could order a new pair. And she said, "I'm really sorry, but we've changed the system now. We won't just do repeat orders. You need to come in and get a new appointment and go through the process and be tested and whatever." Now, I made the mistake in hindsight, looking back, of thinking, you know what, maybe I don't need them anymore. I've been running for quite a few years now without any problems in my calf. Maybe I've changed my running style a bit. I've been trying to run a bit more on the midsole rather than my heel, and maybe I don't need them. So I decided not to bother applying and getting in touch. I knew it would take a while. And when the last pair ran out, I just put ordinary insoles in my shoes. That must have been around about November, December. And then this tendon started being sore around about the end of February, so sort of a couple of months later. And I spoke to Matt last week and I said, "Do you think that could be the cause?" And he said, "Well, it's, you know, the timing of it, and maybe it's not a coincidence." So if that's the case, I feel a bit annoyed with myself that I didn't go through and get an appointment, because I obviously need the orthotics to run without causing an injury on that foot because of the bunion. So in one way, I feel annoyed that I've wasted this summer and the races I was hoping to do. But at least on the other side, if it is that, then it's a glimmer of hope. And that is that if I can get some new orthotics, then it means that hopefully I'll be able to get back into things and I can start running again without any injury and without any pain. So having said that, I feel annoyed with myself that I didn't sort the orthotics out when they wore out, the last pair. But hopefully it means that I will be able to get going again. So I went to see my doctor tonight, Dr. Patel in Love Street in Paisley, and I don't see him very often. Must have been 3 or 4 years ago the last time I went. But I really like him because he's a doctor who he looks at me and says, well, you are 58, you will start, these tendons and muscles and ligaments will start to break down. You do have to be aware that at some point you're going to have to say, well, maybe these longer races you can't manage. But he said, and I agree, that I'm not there yet. And then if we can get this sorted out and it gives me another 5-10 years of running, then that will be great, and that's what I'm hoping for. So he's going to write a letter to the people who do the orthotics and see if I can get an appointment, hopefully soon, because I have been in the system. Maybe they'll give me a quicker appointment rather than having to wait weeks or months. And the other thing he's going to do is put me down for an MRI scan on the ankle to see if that can identify where the issues are. And Matt had suggested that as well, but again, that might take a few weeks, even months. So it may be by the time I get that, things are okay and I don't need it. But anyway, we've put that in process. So that's where I am at the moment. And I do feel that it's not too far away before I can start running. But I think it'll probably be sensible to wait until I get the orthotics, because if that is the problem, then it won't be much use starting to run again and then discovering that I have the same problem, because if it is the orthotics. So I'm hoping that if I get appointments soonish, then I'll be able to get those and then get going. The other alternative with the orthotics is Matt has a colleague who shares a practice with him in Bearsden, and he does orthotics. He's a podiatrist, so I could pay to get a pair of orthotics done. And for the short term, maybe that might be the best thing. I think they're quite expensive, but if I got a pair which would get me going sooner, and then go through the NHS line and get another pair on the NHS in a few weeks, months, then maybe that will be the best thing to do. So I'll see how quickly I get an appointment back from the REH to see if I can get some orthotics. I suppose I'm still hoping to do the Glen Ogle 33. That would be my aim. But if I can't, I can't. I've already lost 2 races, this big races that I wanted to do, 3 races, including the West Highland Way. So I suppose one more is not going to make any difference. But I'm starting to plan for next year. Katrina wants to do an ultra. Oh, don't tell anyone. I'm not sure if I've told many people this. But anyway, Katrina and myself have entered the Hardmoors 55 next March. So we're going to run it together. And Katrina wants to get back, and she's never done a race on the Hardmoors route. So that's going to be a treat to do it together. So we're looking forward to that. And then my big goal for the first half of next year is the Northern Traverse, which is in May, which is the 190-mile race across from St. Bees on the west coast in the Lake District, to go through over the lakes, over quite a few of the tops, through the Peak District, and then into North Yorkshire Moors and finish at Robin Hood's Bay. So it's 190 miles, but you've got 5 days to do it, and there's 4 checkpoints where you can sleep if you want to. My good friend Andy Cole did it just over 3 days and about 9 hours. So he reckons I should be aiming for at least to beat that, or to get under 3 days. So we'll see. But that's my big goal. And I really hope I can get everything sorted out by, say, Christmas at the very latest, so I can have a good block of training from Christmas through till May to be able to achieve that goal. So I'm feeling a bit more enthusiastic. I'm trying to just keep going at the moment. It makes me realise how much I miss running. I love running, and it's been hard this not being able to run, especially being in Bali. And I love running in new places because you get to see things as you run around. Missed out on doing that ultra, which would have been good, but I'm trying to see the big picture and recognise that if I can get it sorted out now over the next few months, it means that I could have another 5-10 years of running and still be able to achieve my goal of trying to run 100 ultras by the time I'm 70. So there's the latest news on my injury, and I think for the next few ultras, next few vlogs, Love Ultras I'm going to do, I'm going to look back on some of the races that I've enjoyed, races like the Lakeland 100, the Hardmoors 110, and 1 or 2 others as well, and do some thoughts about lessons I've learned from those and things that I could maybe pass on while I'm not running at the moment.